Welcome back. Myself Saudhamini Shastri yet with another video on first PUC biology, important 5 marks question and passing package according to new question paper pattern 2023. So from the chapter 4 Animal Kingdom, you can see that list the general features of phylum Annelida. So these are the 5 mark question where you have to write minimum 5 points. See the points they have asked you, the N list the 5 points. If they have not given N list, you have to write 10 points. Okay, and you should also give some examples. Then the second question, write the salient features of phylum Arthropod. So here also you have to write the salient features, not general features, which are the unique features you have to write, that is called as the salient features. You can refer the page number 53 of your NCERT textbook. Next, the third question, write the differences between non-chordates and chordates. You have to make a 2 column whenever the difference question is asked, or differentiate, comparison, all those things you have to make 2 columns and then you have to write. So for this answer you can refer one of my video. I'll give the link of the particular video how you can write the differences of the question. List any 5 differences between chondric thighs and ostick thighs. Again you have to find out the differences, what is the speciality of chondric thighs and what are the other features, how it is different in case of the ostick thighs. Then write the salient features of class Aves. Not just writing all the features, you have to write the salient features. For example, pneumatic bones are there, feathers are there. So like that you have to pick the salient features of the class Aves, and you should also remember some 1 to 2 examples with the scientific name of the particular example. Then write the important characteristic features of class Mammalia. So they have mentioned the important characteristic features, that is how you characterize the particular group of animals into the mammals. You can refer the page number 59 and 60 for this particular question. So in the animal kingdom, so what I am discussing here is a 5 mark question. So please practice this question so that it will be easy and beneficial for you. Next important chapter is chapter 7, structural organization in animals. Here you can give more emphasis to diagrams from this chapter. Okay. The first question is, write a note on connective tissue with the types. For this you refer the answer from the page number NCERT 102, 103 and 104. Then draw neat label diagram of alimentary canal system of earthworm. So you just look into the diagram, you practice many a times so that you don't miss a marks. So whenever the 5 mark question contains a diagram, so 1 mark will be there for your neatness and the drawing of the diagram. So 1 mark will be there. Then for 4 marks it will be divided into 8 labelings. You have to do 8 labelings, and below the diagram you have to write the footnote. Please refer my previous videos where I have told you how to draw the diagrams and how you should write scientifically. Is it? I'll give the link in the description. Next, the third question is, draw neat label diagram of reproductive system of the earthworm. So for this you can refer the page number 110 of your NCERT textbook. Next, draw neat label diagram of digestive system of cockroach. So here also you have to draw the diagram. No need to write the explanation of the particular question. You have to just draw the neat diagram with the correct labelings and write the footnote below the diagram. Then draw neat label diagram of digestive system of frog. Out of 3 any one could be asked. So practice it thoroughly so that you don't miss a mark. Okay. So this chapter is mainly for the diagrams. Next, from the chapter 8, cell, the unit of life. It is one of the important chapter. You will get a lot of questions for 2 marks, 3 marks and 5 marks as well. So I have picked the important 5 mark question. Write any 5 differences between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cells. It's a very general question. You can answer very easily. So you refer the page number 127 to 31 so that you will get all the characteristic differences between the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. They have mentioned only 5 differences. If you write the correct 5 differences, you will get 5 marks. So each of the points will carry 1 mark. Draw a neat label diagram of plant cell. So again here also they have asked the diagram for 5 marks. So you have to write the neat diagram. So for that neatness and drawing the diagram, you will get 1 mark, and you have to write correct labelings of the diagram. 8 labelings should be there minimum. Then explain fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane. So for this there is a diagram. You have to explain the fluid mosaic model along with the diagram. Clear? So here first you have to draw the diagram of the fluid mosaic model, who gave the model, Singer and Nicholson, and what is the characteristic feature of the particular model and why this model was proposed. You have to write the 3 points. So here there will be 2 plus 3 distribution of marks, 2 for your diagram and 3 for your 3 marks for your explanation. Then the fourth question. Explain the structure of mitochondria with a neat label diagram. Again here there will be weightage for your diagram as well as the explanation. So it depends on the examination question paper set whether they have asked the diagram for 3 marks or 2 marks. So better you write the diagram and points equally so that either it can be for 2 marks or it can be for 3 marks. So better you write the diagram also for 3 marks and points also for 3 marks so that you don't miss any points over there. Okay, I mean you don't miss any marks. Describe the structure of chloroplast with a neat label diagram. So once again this is one of the important question. Even this chloroplast mitochondria you have already studied in your high school. So you are aware of the diagram. So make sure you don't lose any marks in the chloroplast. Then explain the structure of nucleus with a neat label diagram. Again here also you have to explain the nucleus. You have to mention all the labeling, footnote, and then you have to explain which are the parts you have drawn in the diagram. So for this nucleus diagram and explanation, you can refer the page number 138 in your NCERT textbook. Then describe the structure of chromosome on the basis of their centromere. How the chromosome is differentiated based on the centromere, whether it is present at the center or if they are present near the tips or near to the center. So there are 4 different types. This is one of the very important question of the chapter. Many times it has been asked, even in the model papers and previous annual papers. If you refer, you will get this question for sure. So don't miss this question, students. Then the 8th question. Name the organelle in which they are found. They have given the parts or some of the labelings of the organelles, and you have to match in which they are found. So where is the cisternae, where is cristae, where is thylakoids, nucleolus, tonoplast. Tonoplast is in vacuole, nucleolus is the part of nucleus. Thylakoids, where is thylakoids? It will comes in the chloroplast. So find out where it is present in cisternae and cristae. So don't get confused. Both the terms are different and they are found in different organelle. Next, from the chapter number 11, transport in plants. This is one of the very important chapter as well as it's a very easy chapter where you can fetch a marks. So in this important 5-mark question is, explain the process of facilitated diffusion with the types. So how the facilitated diffusion will occur across the membrane, you have to explain the different types. So you can refer the answer from the page number 176 and 177. Then what is plasmolysis? Explain the process with different solution. So you have to explain what is plasmolysis. Make sure you are studying the plasmolysis for 5 marks so that even if the question comes for your 1 mark or in the 2 mark, you can write the answer. Then explain the pathways of water movement in root. So how the water movement, whether it is apoplast or symplast, you have to explain. Then the very important topic of the chapter, that is explain mass flow or pressure flow hypothesis. This is very important question. You have to draw the diagram and then you have to explain. Then define the following: imbibition, pour-ins, guttation, transpiration, diffusion and osmosis. Even if it comes for your 2 marks or in the 1 mark, you can tackle it if you practice these important definitions. Okay, so this is chapter 11. Next, chapter 12, mineral nutrition. It's a very simple chapter and easy chapter, and also it is little confusing regarding the disease symptoms and what are its role in the plants. Okay, so make sure you study well so that you don't lose marks over here. So very important question of the chapter is, what are macronutrients? Write the 4 groups of essential elements on the basis of diverse function. So you should know macronutrient and micronutrient, at least definition you should know. Then explain the nitrogen cycle. You have a schematic representation of the nitrogen cycle, and then you have to explain what is happening in the cycle, how the nitrogen gets cycled in the atmosphere. You have to explain. Then explain the mechanism of root nodule formation. This is a very important question. Every year you expect a question from here in the supplementary exam or in the annual exam and even in your preparatory examination. This is very important question of the chapter, and even in NEET exam as well, questions will be on this topic. So it's a very important topic. Then next important question from this chapter is, write any 5 deficiency symptoms of elements. Any 5 deficiency symptoms you have to write and explain, not just giving one sentence chlorosis. What is chlorosis? You have to explain along with the symptom what you are telling. Okay, just naming the symptom, you don't get full marks. You have to name the particular deficiency symptom and then you have to explain what it is. So this is related to mineral nutrition. If you cannot study the entire chapter, at least you minimum study you have to do. Next, chapter 14, respiration in plants, and here also most of the time diagrams is asked from this chapter. So the first question, give the schematic representation of glycolysis. You have to practice this glycolysis, understand it, practice number of times. Definitely you don't regret if you study this question. Definitely you can get a 5 marks. Then give the schematic representation of Krebs cycle. Again you have to practice the cycle schematic representation. No need to write the explanation and all. You just practice the scheme, how it is there in your NCERT textbook. Practice thoroughly and write in the exam. You will get full 5 marks. Then briefly describe ETS and oxidative phosphorylation. Here you have to describe what is meant by electron transport system and what is meant by oxidative phosphorylation. Then the important question is, explain the fermentation process of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. There are 2 types of respiration, that is aerobic in presence of the oxygen and in absence how it happens. So aerobic and anaerobic. Then the 5th question, define respiratory quotient. Mention the formula. Again this is one important segment of the chapter where the question will be framed every year, either in the 2 mark part or in the 3 mark part, that is part B, part C, or in the part D. So this is a very important respiratory quotient. Then here it has split 2 plus 3. So the question A will contain 2 marks, that is define respiratory quotient, 1 mark for the definition and 1 mark for your mentioning the formula. Then in the B question, that is mention the RQ value of protein, mentioning the RQ value of lipid and mentioning the RQ value of carbohydrate will fetch you 1, 1, 1, 1. That is 3 marks. Each RQ value you will get 1 mark. I hope I am clear with the questions from the chapter number 14. Next, chapter 15, plant growth and development. So the main important question here is write the specific characteristics of the growth. You have to write the characteristics of the growth. Then second, explain the arithmetic and geometric growth. So again you have to refer the graph, what is arithmetic and how geometric growth happens. You have to mention the graph and then you have to explain the answer. Then write a note on discovery of plant growth regulators. You have to write about the discovery, how the plant growth regulators were discovered. You have to write as it is in your textbook. Then define the following. So these are the important definitions. One is photorespiration, vernalization, apical dominance and plasticity. So either you can get this question for your part B question, part C question or part D question. In part B question they can ask you 2 definition, in part C they can ask you 3 definition and in part D they ask you 5 definition. So you can expect the questions like this. Then write the physiological effects of auxin on plants. You know that there are 5 hormones which play a vital role in your plants. At least you study auxin physiological effects. Next, name the plant growth regulator responsible for the following physiological effects. Like you have to write which are the plant hormone which will make you the physiological effects, like bolting, one particular hormone, apical dominance, fruit ripening, production of new leaves and chloroplast in leaves and closure of stomata. 5 hormones are there, 5 individual hormone, each of the hormone have a specific physiological effect. This is the question where you have to study. Okay. Then chapter number 16, digestion and absorption. Draw neat label diagram of digestive system of a human. So you have to write a digestive system of human. You know from your elementary classes the digestive system. So you can write. So writing the diagram will give you 1 mark and for each correct labeling you will get half mark. That is you have to write 8 correct labeling. Then explain the process of digestion of food. You have to explain the process of how the food you consumed will get digested in your body, in the human body. Then briefly describe the absorption of food by different regions. So in different region how the food is getting absorbed you have to mention. Then mention the secretion and function of following glands, like what are the glands will secrete and what the secretion is performing a function you have to write. Salivary gland, liver, pancreas, stomach and small intestine. Then write the symptoms of the following disorder, like jaundice, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, indigestion. You will get the answer from the disorder section which is given at the end of your chapter. Then define the following, like thecodont, bolus, what is meant by chyme, deglutition, PEM. Okay. So if you practice this much, more than enough. If you cannot study the full chapter, you can study at least this. I have given this passing capsule for those students who are facing lot of difficulty to study the entire 22 chapters. At least study minimum questions where you can pass your examination. And those who are aiming for 100 and for becoming topper, you have to study all the topics, students. Okay, no need to compromise over there. So this is a video which is for those students who are facing lot of difficulties in study and remembering the stuff. Okay, I hope it's clear. Next, chapter 18, body fluids and circulation. So here you have to study important topic, that is write a note on formed elements. So this is very important question you have to study. Then draw neat label diagram of the VS of human heart. So this diagram also you know from your high school and elementary classes. You have drawn the diagram, so it's very easy if you practice it. Then what is meant by double circulation? Describe with reference to human heart. So you have to write the definition of double circulation or what is meant by double circulation, and you have to explain how the blood circulated twice. So that you have to write. Then explain the events of cardiac cycle. This is very important topic. Don't miss it. Okay. Next. Chapter 20, Locomotion and Movement. So the basic concept, that is, you should know what is meant by locomotion and what is meant by movement, that definition. Then for this question A, there is a weightage of 2 marks, and 1B, that is, mention the types of muscles based on location. You have to write where you have to give the 3 types, so each of the type will carry 1 mark, that is 3 marks. Then draw neat label diagram of myosin and actin. So again here there is a splitting of marks 3 plus 2 or 2 plus 3. So you have to write the diagram how it is there in your NCERT textbook. Then explain the mechanism of muscle contraction briefly. So for this also there is one diagram. You have to write the diagram and then you have to explain. Then draw neat label diagram of human skull. Then you have to draw the diagram. Then draw neat label diagram of rib cage. Again you have to refer your NCERT textbook. Name the bones present in upper arm. You have to enlist which are the bones present in your upper arm. Then suggest the location of given following joints. You have to give the location where this particular joints are present, that is ball and socket, hinge joint, pivot joint, gliding and saddle. You have to refer your textbook, you will get the answer. Okay. Next, chapter 21, Neural Control and Coordination. So in this chapter, draw neat label diagram of multipolar myelinated neurons. So you know the neuron structure which you have studied from your high school. So once again it's a very easy topic which you cannot miss it. Then draw neat label diagram of sagittal section of human brain. Again this is present even in your high school portion. So most of you are thorough with this diagram. So please don't skip it. Then explain the mechanism of generation and conduction of nerve impulse. So how the nerve impulse is generated and how it is conducted you have to explain. Then draw neat label diagram of human eye. Draw neat label diagram of human ear. Again this is one of the diagrams which you already have studied from your high school. So one tip students, many a times what happens is when we feel that we know this particular question, that is a tendency where you lose the marks from that particular question because of the overconfidence. So don't be overconfident in those topics. If you know the topics well in advance, keep revising it so that you don't lose any mark over there. Then define corpus callosum, cerebral adequate, sclera, labyrinth, blind spot. You have to give the definition of the particular terms. Okay. So this is regarding to neural control and coordination. So you know that in your first PUC there are 22 chapters. I have picked 11 chapters which contains 5 mark question from each one of the chapters. So at least you study half of your syllabus, and even in half of your chapters, that is total 22 chapters are there. I have given you 11 chapters. In that 11 chapters, I have given you only 5 mark questions. So there are also 1 mark question, 2 mark question and 3 mark question in your question paper. Try to attend it. Okay. Then 2 chapters having diagram based question I have mentioned in my video in the previous slides. Then practice all the questions. No matter what, at least you study what you are studying a bit. Then for more accuracy, follow the latest blueprint pattern given from the Karnataka PU board. Blueprint pattern you have to follow. Then study and practice NCERT diagrams and schematic representation. So apart from these 11 chapters, in other chapters, whichever diagram, schematic representation you feel you can do it, please go for it. Okay, don't just rely on only on these questions. You can study more. Then study those questions from other chapters which seems easy for you instead of skipping the chapters completely. Okay, I hope I'm clear with the video. All the best students.